Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial on how to use the grid system to draw any object at all. Now in tutorial we'll be showing you just how we can go about drawing any object, any subject, any image that we see that was created already. If we want to replicate that object, we can use the grid system to do so. We can also use this grid system to enlarge and reduce the size of objects by following some basic principles. Right, so in this lesson we're going to be just looking at how we go about using the grid system to draw an image. For this example, we're going to be using this picture here of a frog, of a cartoon frog, and we're going to be doing it, we're not enlarging this time, but we're just doing it at the regular size, the same size that it is here. Now for this activity we'll be needing our rulers, we're going to be needing an eraser, it's not so much the knife and this one, but we're going to definitely be needing our pencils. Alright, so first and foremost we need to create our grids on both sheets of paper, the one that you'll be doing your drawing on and the original work of art that we're going to be drawing. So we need to do our grid on both sheets of paper. Now some of us might be asking, what exactly is a grid? And in this case a grid is just a series of parallel lines that intersect each other. So we have some lines going horizontally and some going vertically. And if you look here on my cutting mat where they have done the measurements on the mat, you'll see that we have lines going across and we have lines going down, so horizontal and vertical line, and these lines form a grid on the cutting mat. So basically this is what we're going to be doing on our original drawing and also on the paper that we'll be drawing on. So let's just set this paper aside temporarily since we won't be needing that one right now. And firstly we're going to work on creating the grid on our original drawing. Now one thing to note, the more lines you use in your grid is the more accurate your drawings will tend to be. Right, so if you want your drawing to be completely accurate, then it's good to have more lines for our grids. However, in this case, I'm just going to be using some 1-inch spaces to create our grid. So each line for the grid will be 1 inch away from the other one. Now the first thing we need to do is to put some marks at every 1 inch point. We're going to put a mark on our paper. So first of all, line up our rulers real nicely, and then we're going to start putting in our marks. So for every inch we're going to put one mark. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have this paper is a letter size paper, so it's 8.5 inches. So we have 8 lines plus a little space there. And we're going to do the same thing at the bottom. So we're going to start from the same left side, and we're going to go across to the right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8.5. Right, so one thing to note when we're doing this though, never would do this. If you put a mark at the top of the paper, it is best that you move the ruler down to the bottom of the paper and start the same mark from the same side that you started at the top. Because if you were to turn around your paper and start from this side measuring and going across again, what you'd find is that the small section, the little half mark that is left off, will be over on this side, which is not what you would want ideally. So whichever side you start your measurement on, it is recommended that you continue your measurement on that side. Right, so once we have our marks, the next step is for us to draw lines that go through each of the marks that we created. Now with this one you're able to go as bright as you want to, since this is your reference drawing, so you can go as bright with your lines as you want to, just bright enough for you to see exactly what is happening So I'm drawing my lines through the points that I made earlier. Right, so I've drawn all the vertical lines. Now it's time for us to get the horizontal lines. And to do that, we just turn the paper to the side and we're gonna mark off 1 inch spaces, just like we did earlier. So we go again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 marks. And since this is an 11-inch paper, then you know that putting a mark at each inch will always give you an even amount of space in between them without leaving over any. So we don't have to worry about any space being left over for the 11-inch section. Alright, once we've made our marks, we go again and we draw the lines through these points. Alright, so I've gone ahead and I've labeled my original drawing, my original piece. So I've labeled that piece based on letters and numbers. So across we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G going out to I, and up we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 going up to 11. Right, so we have our labels so that we can basically keep a check of what we're doing on our paper when we start. Now, next step is to go ahead and measure our paper that we'll be drawing on. Right? So we're gonna have to recreate the same grid that we had on the other paper. We're gonna have to put it back on this one. Alright, so we must remember that we need to label this one as well. We need to label our paper that we're going to be drawing on as well, in a similar way that we did the first one. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright, so we have our A to I and 1 to 11. You can do the same thing on the other side. All right, now once we've done that, the next step is for us to just look in each square. So we're going to identify each square that has some part of the image in there, and we're going to try to put back whatever we see in our square. We're going to try to put it back in the corresponding square on our paper. So in this one, this example, we have a part of the left leg in E, rather not E but 3, in the 3A section. Alright, so A3 section. Alright, so we're gonna make sure that we put it back in the same column, A, row 3. So we have the toes coming off in there. So we're gonna draw back those toes in that specific area. Alright, so just continuing in this trend, just putting back what we see in each square, we put it back in the same corresponding square on our paper. Alright, so once we've done our drawing of our frog, one next good step to take is to actually go through and go over to the marker. Like, this is a cartoon, a drawing of a cartoon character. So usually cartoon characters have very bright edges and borders and outlines. So we're gonna use our marker here and we're gonna get some bright outlines on this thing here. Right, so